Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name's Jade, and this is the Odd Couple Rant. And today, my very special guest is Frank Terzo. And we're going to be talking about community. And let's kick off with a song called New World. This is the Thomas Christ version. Let's Oge.
Been a long, long year. So long, so long. It's been a while.
Welcome to the show. My name is Jade and this is the Odd Couple Rant. We do this once a month and that was New World, originally written by, of course, our special guest today, Frank Terzo, and then remixed, remastered, rejiggerooed by the amazing Thomas Christ, who we all love very, very much. We love both of these people very, very much, and I'm very stoked to have Frank on the show to talk about this wonderful subject today. I love these shows. I love doing rants, but it's so much fun doing a rant with somebody else, isn't it? It's always better with another person, isn't it? You know? Unless you're on Hub or something like that. We're gonna go down. I've already got Frank nervous back there. Welcome. You're all doing good. It's Friday here, and I'm really excited because it's the end of the week. But before we bring Frank on, I've got a couple of things I need to do. We need to talk about our sponsor, and I need to remind you that tomorrow, straight after Valerie Butt, on here on this channel is the next episode of, I put Frank on there. Whoa, Walk With Me is back, and I went to a place called Frankston. Frankston, what a wonderful place Frankston is. And you're going to love Frankston. I went there the other day. I got sunburnt to the max, but I'm still editing it. It should be up in a few hours' time if you want to set a reminder and all that stuff. But that is the Walk With Me for tomorrow and all that stuff. Yes. So today we're talking about community, and thankfully I can do this due to their wonderful sponsor, and that is, of course, DistroKid. DistroKid is the place to go if you want to release your music to streaming services like Apple and Spotify and Amazon and all the places, and most of them that you've never heard of before, and you can do so at the very low price of $22.99 annually. But if you use my code, which Thomas has just slapped in the chat, it's in the description, it's up the top up there as well too. Use that code distrokid.com/VIP/Jade, so you'll get 7% off your first year, and you get a whole bunch of things for that $22. You can release unlimited songs, you get one artist, unlimited lyrics, Spotify check marks, you can split your royalties with other artists if you do collabs, and there's a lot of people doing collabs here in this community. You got a whole bunch of tools to advertise your stuff and all that jazz. There's two other plans here. Musicians Plus gives you 2 artists, and the Ultimate gives you 5 artists and a whole bunch more other special things down the bottom here. DistroKid have been sponsors of this channel for quite a while now, and I couldn't do it without you, DistroKid. Thank you so much. Look, before they started sponsoring this show, I was already using them many years before. And yeah, I was happy with just getting my music out. And now I'm even happier that they're a sponsor here. So thank you so much, DistroKid, for all you do. As usual, I love you, DistroKid. There you go. Big kisses for DistroKid. All right, let's get on with my guest and bring him on here. He is a fantastic musician. You know, we all know his songs and we love his music, and he's a community leader. Yes, they're really hard shoes to fill these days, I'll tell you what. And, you know, but he is what he is. And what he does outside of this community too is quite large as well, which we shouldn't forget as well. And he makes great music and all that jazz. And it's going to be interesting to have him on. So let's get him up here right now and unmute him and bring him on. Ladies and gentlemen, tables and chairs, let's bring on Frank Terzo. Hello, Frank.
Hello, Jade. How we doing?
Very good. I'm all the better now that you're here.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here. I am nervous, as I mentioned backstage. But the last time I was on your show, the first time I have actually went public and was on YouTube was September 2022, and during our interview. And yeah, since then I haven't looked back.
I know. It's
been a blast.
I went back and watched the interview last night, and I don't do that very often because I just wanted to make sure that I'm not going to ask the same things, you know, because I've got those goldfish behind me in that tank, I think have a better memory than me. Right? I thought goldfish were quite dumb. Every time I walk over to that tank, Frank, they all come up to the front going, nom, 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 feed me. I'm
Kind of
wrong.
what you do during your show.
Kind of. But they seem smarter than me. So I was wrong about goldfish. I'm going to admit it. They are quite clever. You know, they recognise me. I didn't know they would recognise me. So there's that. So everybody who comes on this show, normally I've had them on already. I've interviewed them. And I should say also, welcome to you all in the chat as well. I see you, and I will say, call out your names shortly, but we're going to get into it. So normally when I do these rants, I've had some kind of experience with my guests, right? So I know a little bit about them. But for those who don't know, I normally start with this thing. So, and if those of you have never worked in the corporate industry, this is called an elevator pitch. And you get told to learn how to do one of these. So just in case you're in the elevator, you're going for your lunch and the CEO of the company's in there and it's uncomfortable and you're in the lift with the CEO and he's like, hello, who are you? And you have to try and wow them in a minute. So Frank, we're going to do the elevator pitch. You've got a minute to wow the good people and tell them just who the bloody hell are you. Go.
Hello, everybody. My name is Frank Terzo, and I'm a cocaine addict. You want to hire me? Many of you, you may know me for my music and my latest little venture that I've done with folk punk and with the help of DJ, the Community Pulse. What many of you may not know, you would have heard in 2022, 19 years. I came into the program and I found myself working at this agency where I manage, advocate for those living with addictions and mental health. I'm not sure if this is going to land me a job, but I say this about the addictions because my mentor, who passed at the beginning of COVID, and my sponsor, he said the key to your success, Frank, is gratitude, and that just hopefully explains why I'm doing this because gratitude is what he told me would save my life, and I've never had a better feeling about who I am and what I do as much as I do now when we started the Community Pulse.
Wonderful.
And thank you everybody for all the support.
This is going to lead me down a path. Frank, have you ever had what people call, there's a whole lot of different names for it. Some people think they've just met God or they've had an epiphany. Have you ever had a moment in your life where something has struck you in the face in the cold dead hours of the night and gone, oh my God, what have I been doing with my life? What have you ever had one of those moments where something has changed your course?
That's what brought me into recovery. New Year's Eve morning, 2005 is I was high as F and I looked in the mirror and it's exactly what I said is what the are you doing? I was 41 at the time and I continued on my day and I went out and picked up my drugs that I was prepared to sell for New Year's Eve and picked up my whole bunch of Jack Daniels and 3 cases of beer and ready to go for the night. And something hit me right there, and I said, no, you're not going to make it through the evening. And I called the treatment center and went to go into detox, but they had no beds. And so I backed away. And then my father-in-law at the time when he was alive, he said, don't turn back now. Go to the hospital and they'll find you a bed. And sure enough, I did it. So that was my awakening and I haven't looked back.
Man, I had virtually the same thing happen. I'd got out of hospital after all this blood stuff went down, and you know, I was working in the sex industry at the time, making more money than I've ever made in my entire life. Like, you
Sounds
know,
a lot funner.
well, you know, when you've got the kind of money that you can just get up in the morning and go, I might just go get Botox. Oh, that's $800 and just not even care. That's how good the money was insane doing dominatrix work. And then I got sick and ended up in hospital, and they took my spleen, and things were really bad. And then I got out of hospital and I tried to get back into the game because, you know, you don't want to lose that money. And in that game is drugs, because you got to take coke and stuff to deal with people's derangement. I mean, you know, people are deranged. The things they want you to do to them, they're deranged, they're demonic. They just are. And I had an epiphany where I had a client, and they were on. I'm not going to go into what I was doing to them, but just say they were in front of me. They couldn't see me from behind, and my whole life flashed before me. I saw all this shit that I'd done in my past and stuff that people I'd burnt and all this shit, and it was just like it was so freaky. And when it all stopped, I looked to the side of me, and I had a house full of knives just in case somebody attacked me, and I looked over and grabbed the knife that was hidden behind the books on my shelf and actually held it over the client's back like I was going to stab them, and then went, "What the hell am I doing?" Put that down, and I never did that job ever again, and gave up drugs. And it's funny how these things. At first, I thought it was just because I was high, and I overlooked it. It was like, I think I'm just high, but no, that was that moment of life flashing before your eyes, and I'm so thankful for it because it helped me later on. At that time, I didn't change anything. I kept going, but then I spiraled out of control, and then finally I was able to look back on that at a point and go, remember that was, I think that was the moment I should have listened to.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, normally when I have people on, we talk about music. Normally the first question I ask them is, what does music mean to you? And today I want to ask you, what does community mean to you, Frank Terzo?
Well, it's probably a lot easier to answer for me right now. I think music means similar things to many of us. The community to me, it actually means the world. This is, and I don't want to sound corny or tacky. The community has become my family. From when I walked in Pete John's door, to when I got introduced to Thomas Christ, Metalhead Hippie, and yourself, and then all the others that came after. This community has become my family and still is. And just like a family, you get the ups and downs and the heartbreaks and losses and everything that comes with family. But the community to me means the world right now.
I hear you. It's interesting because when I got into this, and I'm sure when you fell into this as well, I didn't. It was just during COVID, and I'd been over on Pete's channel. Well, you know, a lot of us are from the gateway drug, Pete Johns, who's here in the chat. It's so weird. As soon as his name's mentioned, there he is. Hi, Frank. Look at him. Hello, g'day, Copper. It's me, Pete. That's not how Pete sounds, but in my mind, I always say, g'day, Copper. It's Pete. It's just not. But during COVID or the inconvenience, I'd been on Pete's channel for ages, and moderating and offering help, like what Thomas does now, like Leela does, and what Folk Punk does, and so many other people before me. And it's a really great way to get into the community to moderate and do that stuff. And then I think it was Pete who suggested, I think it was, I can't remember, to have a channel. And I was just doing it for something to do. And then all of a sudden you really start to see a sense of community and responsibility and people that are there all the time. And you've got to continuously be positive and be good but still at the same time be truthful about what's going on with you, because, you know, if you're not well and you're bullshitting to people and going, I'm okay, even though my arms got cut off, you know, people see through it. So you've got to be authentic. I think that's the word we're looking for. And then before long, you kind of are this somebody that people look towards and hold things together. And it's so much more than just making music. And I've been involved, Frank, in a lot of communities over the years on the internet, and a lot of them have been dog shit because people want to tear each other down, and publicly, and just constantly want to rip people down. Where this one is a little different. What do you think it is about this community that is different than what's going on in other communities? Or is it that different?
You know what? I haven't experienced. I've heard nightmares. About some of these nightmare communities. I only experienced it once, and I left. I went in there, and everybody asked me where I came from. I don't even remember which one it was, and it was at the beginning. But this community that we have is special. Folk Punk says it best, and he says it often on Thomas's channel. This community is all about celebration. We celebrate ourselves, our crafts, our art. Yeah, and you get that from everybody who comes into all of the communities that you all have created out there, and it's just wonderful.
Now, you come from talking about your story, and, you know, people, I say odd couple rant. You know, we come from completely different countries, completely different
this is
backgrounds.
Definitely odd couple.
But at the same time, we just shared a really intimate story about, you know, shit that's happened to us. Both involved drugs, both involved, you know, sorting this stuff out. So that term same but different really does apply. Now, I know too, coming from your road to recovery is pretty much what you do now away from YouTube, isn't it?
Yes.
And does your work background in what you do outside of here, what's the correct, what would I say, counselling, or I don't know what the term is you would call it for yourself?
Well, and I'm not an addictions counselor, but I manage addiction counselors, career counselors. Yeah.
Does being involved in that help you with this and, you know, doing the Community Pulse?
100%. It helps you. Yeah, you definitely have an understanding of people. Everybody, as you said, we are kind of the same, but all our stories, each one of our stories is unique. Dealing with people daily for 19 years now definitely helps me manage my emotions, and learning how to keep things at home. And I do the same. I apply the same principles when I come into the community. I leave it in the community, and I don't let it, you know, you have to leave it behind, and yeah,
you can't let it
consume you,
permeate. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Now, being in that role too, and I, you know, I'm a big advocate here on this channel. It's one of the things maybe people don't like what I do, but, you know, not only do I teach the apps and stuff, whatever, I get to play music on here, I get to interview people, I get to do shows like this, but I also get to talk about mental health and well-being, and I've done that for 4 years on this channel. I think it's really important. I come from a psychology background. I have done, you know, I have my, I have certificates in you know, counselling and youth counselling and stuff. I've been a HIV dementia carer for 9 years. And I'm not telling people to go out and go do any of this stuff. You don't know. But as people involved in this, you would know, Frank, it's very important for people involved in any community and caring and offering advice and all that stuff. We need to have support networks as well, too. And you in management, I'm assuming, excuse me, would be the person who kind of organises those, I guess, roundtables. I know when I was doing HIV counselling and stuff like that, every Wednesday, the people in my small group who had our own clients, we would have to come together for an hour or hour and a half, and we'd sit there and talk about our clients and how our clients are affecting us and how our home life is and are we okay, and check in and all that stuff. Because if you're doing this kind of work and, working with large communities and smaller communities, you need to fucking vent and get this shit out, or you end up going bonkers. So you'd be involved in this stuff. Do you have a support network for work and even for this kind of community? Do you have a smaller group here in this small music community that you bounce things off and can, freely unwind and do all that kind of stuff?
I do, and I'm blessed to have JJ Folk
Yep.
Punk. He's a brother, and when I know many of us use that term loosely, and I do too. I think everybody's my brother, but with JJ, it's different. He truly is always there for me. There is a couple others, 15th Bend and Hetriani. I often go to them, and those are my support networks. And then I rely on the community itself. Just being involved and listening to music. It's what I do throughout the day. And that takes me out of my head and truly does help me.
So you've talked about, look, and I'm glad you have that group. I have mine too. I have my core group of friends: Russ, Kurt, Leela, and Jenny. There's a group of them. There's probably about 10. Oh yeah, Brad,
Yeah, and I've
Brad.
missed a few like Lori, Gary.
Yeah.
You gravitate to a group, and it's important.
Yeah, and we have that little messenger group that is constantly going through the night. Ding.
Oh, I turn those
ding.
off.
Mate, mine's always off. Ding,
Yeah,
ding,
no,
ding.
I just pick up the phone old school and yeah.
Join when you can. But it's interesting, isn't it? Because it's almost comforting, that group, right? That it's in the background going, and you can at any time of the day pick it up, open it up, and just jump into the conversation.
Yes.
I do think it's important to have these safety nets of people you can kind of go in there and joke around with and be silly and say silly stuff, because, we tend to get very serious as musicians. Fucking music. You want people to like your music, please like my music. And we're fragile little pedals, musicians. Some.
Yeah, we could be sensitive.
Are you
Yeah.
sensitive about your music, Frank?
No,
Really?
honestly, I am not. I'm sensitive. No, sensitive is the word for me. I put a lot of time into my music. There was a time where I was chasing subs and and I had the money and I would drop $50 to get the views and I've said this story before. JJ he pretty much pulled me out of it. Got me out of my own way and made me realize what it is, why I'm doing what I'm doing. My music is for me. I have to enjoy it. I have to like it. If you listen to the lyrics, most of it is all about recovery, whether it's mine, something I've experienced, something I've witnessed, something I've seen. That's my therapy. Um, is within my music and my writing. And so to answer the question about sensitive to my music as opposed to how people are going to take it, not so much. When I'm stuck on a lyric, and I'm sure many can relate to this, chord progression where you've heard it. And I don't know if that is sensitive, but I'll reach out for help on that. And for the most part, yeah.
It's interesting. I remember when I had you on the show, and you told me about how Google Ads, and then I went down the rabbit hole and did a whole series on Google Ads, and
I remember,
and I paid
for
for a Google
$2 at
ad,
it.
yeah, and I did it, and I got all these views, and then I broke it down and was like, hang on a minute, these views are coming, they're not even like 15 seconds, they're not even watching the whole thing, and they're all coming from like Indonesia and stuff, and it's, when you think about it, that stuff, my takeaway from it is that it's almost just YouTube sanctioning what the sneaky people, the dirty people on Instagram who promise views and likes do, but you're just doing it through YouTube. You're getting the same amount of short watches from this kind of dodgy channels. I don't know. It's like, but YouTube's sanctioning it. It's so weird. And it doesn't, it's just my opinion. I don't think it benefits your channel.
Well, I'm not going to criticize those because I still advertise. Maybe I'm naive, but I believe if it's YouTube that you're paying and that you're using for promoting your music, not for the views, but to get your music heard out there, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
No.
Don't do what I did, drop $50 on a bunch of songs, and that was just ridiculous. That was a newbie, but and that was through Google Ads. But I don't think there's anything wrong with promoting your music, because if this is what you want to do, get your music heard, you have to have some sort of faith in the system that they're doing the right thing. I don't know, maybe I'm naive. I have a little bit, but I don't think there's that much wrong. If you do it, there's so many different shows out there on YouTube that, tell you the proper steps on what to take to do this properly, to get the right people to view your music. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird, it is weird because like it does get you in an algorithm. I found the best ads were the ones that I actually put on similar bands' pages. Like if I was doing Metheist, I'd go and advertise under Metallica and Slayer and put the ads under there, because at least it's going to somebody who might already like metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I found those ones work the best. But it's a very complex thing to do, and I think a lot of people look at it and then they do it and they go, oh, there's so many pages of stuff I have to fill in here, and I've had to deal with when Brad did it, and I remember Brad set it up and he was like, oh no, I've just spent $250, and I'm like, no, Brad, cancel. So it can be a bit confronting doing that kind of thing. I don't know how we got onto this, but somehow this is where this show goes. It goes in strange places. So while we'll segue over to all the wonderful people that are here, let's say hello to those who are in the chat. And I'm going to bring up your name. So if you want me to call your name out, folks, type something, anything, and I'll find you and we'll do it. Dell's in the house. Yeah. Hetriani's here. Jenny Jolivet, who's recovering from illness, is here. DJ Big Red, of course. We've got Joe. We've got Thomas Christ in the house. Mr. Smith is here. I've clicked on the wrong one name. Tremor Bear. G'day. Leelaverse. Pete Johns, who I mentioned. I'm scrolling up the list. We've got Michael Thompson. Folk Punk, of course. Ali, hello. Trying to catch up. Who else we got? Let's go back down and see if E-Urban is here as well. Type something. Let me know. Pete Johns is here. He says having a little sleep in and listening in. Mateusz Prakowski. Mike Shaner Music. Good to see you, my friend. Anyone else? If I've missed you, I've missed you. Just let me know and I'll catch you as we go on. So, what drove you, Frank? What madness? What was it? What demonic possession convinced you to start the Community Pulse and put so much workload on your life? Did you, firstly, did you expect when you started Community Pulse that it would be so much work?
No. And I want to say hey to DJ. You know, he's another one I bounce things off of. He's always there.
Yes, we know you two are married.
Yeah.
We know.
And I'm sure I've missed a few, and they're going to come back to me. But no, it was JJ and I were just, as we do often. We were just talking about a show called Deep Dive, and
right. Deep Cut.
Yeah.
So that was the original name.
Deep Dive. Yeah, and we were going to pick artists and then go right through their library and just make a show out of that. And it kind of sat because I think at the time we also had New World going, and again, that's JJ's idea. And so from Deep Dive, I don't even know how. I think it was JJ that said, or somebody said, "You're the Pulse," or something like that. And we just came with it was supposed to be called I came up with the Community something else.
That's a great name. The Community something else. I like it.
The Community something else. Yeah. Well, it is something else.
It is.
But yeah, so we came up with Community Pulse and just featuring artists and trying to focus on new artists because, again, gratitude. I found myself with my sub count, and it's true what they said, once you hit 1,000, it just starts to increase on its own. And so I just felt I had so many people that were commenting on my songs that I hadn't seen in other communities. So that, going back to the advertising, it had worked.
Yep.
And they stuck with it. And so we felt like, let's try to draw them into the community. Like Marty Clyde, the piano guy, was a great example. He's one of the first that, and I was sending emails to these people like, come on, man, here's Thomas's submit, here's Pete's, here's, Metalhead Hippie and Ron Ward, and here's all these links, 15th Bend you can send your music to. And yeah, a few of them did follow up. I don't even know, can't remember who they were, but we started this Community Pulse just to share and to continue branch off of what Pete Johns, Thomas Christ, 15th Bend, Metalhead Hippie, Ron, what you guys have been doing all this time is sharing out music. And we thought we'd just try to bring people into the community. And then as we started to go, we started to get, what about me? What about me?
Yeah.
So we kind of opened it up to, yeah.
It's hard because, inclusivity, man, you want to get everyone in there. And, obviously it's not just you sitting there doing it. You've got a team of people who are working really hard to collect I couldn't imagine how hard it is for the whole week to go and collate and find all these bloody songs and get them all together. Yeah. That's just a massive, I can't even keep up with what I said 10 minutes ago. Those goldfish back there, they remember everything. Right? So it's a big undertaking, and you don't want to leave anyone out. It's a really hard thing about doing this. You're trying to make sure everyone's covered, and people are going to, get, hey, have you forgot about me? What I like about it is that it takes off some of the heat for me, because I've been watching Community Pulse and gone, there's somebody I can get on. I don't have to do as much searching, and I can go and find people to interview. At the same time, it's given me a chance to start looking for artists who aren't so much from this community to try and get some bigger acts on, because I think that's important for me. Look, I think it's important to have I'm trying to get some really big acts on who've, I guess, made it, because they're really fascinating people to hear how they got there as well too, not just us, how we're just sitting here on YouTube. So there's that. And yeah, tell us what goes into a week of putting together the show. Who does all the fucking work, Frank?
Well, again, fortunately, I am in a management position, so I'm able to keep headphones on and listen to what's going on, and with the help of JJ and DJ sending me links and stuff. Hey, did you hear this? Hey, what about this? Because I consistently update DJ, and he creates the list for me, and we just compile everything. And as you can tell, it's it starts off with 30 shutouts, and now we're at, I don't know, 150 shutouts throughout the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't want to miss anybody, and sometimes I do, and some shows I have to. It, some shows. So what we did was we created a playlist. So whatever I can't shut out, and there's artists out there like our good friend Robbie Stingle who will put out 4 or 5 tracks in some weeks,
Yes.
and that's good. That's great. And but you can't sit there and shut out a whole list of each. So we kind of just picked the latest or the last one we've heard,
Yep.
and but we try. I think I got a pretty good memory of who I've forgotten to add to the list. So then we expanded to mentions, and then we expanded to doing for others, and then we did the featured channel as opposed with the featured artists. So we can kind of try to get more people from our community heard, and yeah.
It's one of the hardest things to get going, and I know, from watching Thomas and Pete. Pete tries things on YML to get new people involved. He's got his little spinneroonie thing, his Play My Fire beat, which started as a joke because all the DJs who used to come in and go, play my fire beat, man. It's like, no, you got to send the form in like everybody else. Thomas is constantly got premieres coming in and trying to get new people in. It's really hard to get new people in before it becomes a circle jerk that we're all just playing to each other. And, circle jerks can be fun for a while, but then they become a bit boring, and, you're just hearing the same thing all around and around. It becomes an echo chamber. But it is really hard. I know even Pete's tried to go out to Bandcamp and stuff and reach out and try and get new people in and do all that kind of thing. But it's hard because not everybody wants to spend every day on YouTube hanging out and liking everyone's videos, because a lot of these musicians outside of this community are actually gigging and performing and stuff. So it's hard to bring in new people. How do you go about looking for new artists to bring in? Do you have a method of it? Do you search around? I know you've got DJ who does so much good work. But is there a method to finding new people?
Well, DJ and JJ do a great job, and obviously Thomas Christ always has a new artist, and that he's premiering on the show. I still have quite a few people in my subscriptions that I'm still tracking down, and some of which are already part of the community. But that's pretty much how it's going. And now what's happened is like Stay Tuned for is a great example. We we had them on the show, and then East Virginia Studios is another one, and then the channel started to grow, and more people came on, and we find out they're musicians. Um, and then that's really it's kind of snowballing that way through the other artists.
Yeah, and Jenny has a really good question. This is exactly where I was heading with this.
Hi, Jenny.
What happens when the community does grow? Because then there's more personalities and more people that come in with more needs, and then this is where things, and I'm definitely not for controlling things. I hate control. I hate censorship. I hate telling people how they should be. My motto is quite simple. Just don't be an asshole. It's very simple in life. But this is what happens, and from many communities I've been involved in, not just music, online, and I'm talking about more online here. The more people that come in, then you've got more people to cater to and more personalities, and some people are assholes, and they join, and you've got to deal with this kind of stuff. It's one of the things that always sits there and worries me, that when you've got such a good thing that seems like, and you bring in more people in, it's like, well, when's it going to explode? We're going to end up just getting the door gets kicked open. It's like, hi, everybody. We're the assholes who've come to spoil the party. It's nothing you can really control either, but it's something you kind of got to keep an eye on as well, and make sure, like, hey, it's a hard one. It is a really hard one. How do you admonish, or how do you say, hey, pull people up? We don't come in here and shit on people while their songs are being played, because, you see it. Some people come in and go, hey, this song sucks. You need to, and you think, geez, you're not reading the room very well.
Yeah. On the Community Pulse, we hadn't run into that. I think there was a couple times where Gary had to time, or I'm not sure what you call it, do what the wrenches do. Yeah, no, I wasn't calling Gary a wrench, by the way.
You're a spanner, Gary.
The mods. Do what the mods do, timeout or block. But I've seen it in some, but I think our family is big enough where we're kind of protecting each other.
Yeah.
And we are watching out. I have gotten some emails and messages, watch out for this, watch out for that kind of thing. And I do. And I've got a few blocked on my channel that I want no part of. And for the community growing, I'm not sure. And I guess I want to say this. I just would like, I don't like people stepping on each other. I know it's inevitable sometimes.
Yes.
But I think it's really important that we take the time to know what is out there, and it's a family, and do your best to try to respect somebody else's time. But I know there's only 24 hours in a day, and we're right across the world, and so time zones, things are, and that's the only challenge, when you're having to, if it's the same thing, when you're having to split and have people have to make a choice on who to go see. I guess it does irk me in a bit, but I guess it's going to happen.
It is, and you got to, as a creator here on YouTube,
yeah,
you got to build a bridge. Like, I know when I first started out, somebody went on, I'd be like, oh, curses to you. Now I just don't give a shit. Like, hey, it is what it is. And when when I watch stuff, sure, there's people who cross over. I'm normally in my lounge room with my TV and my desktop that's connected. So I've got 4 tabs open at the same time, flicking between all 3 of them with the sound on all of them, which sounds like terrible.
Well, I drive Shauna crazy when I do that.
But
I don't do it often, but yeah.
But you got to do it. Like that's the
While
thing.
I'm watching the football game or a hockey game.
Yeah. I'll have on the background. There's Accent Nacho on, but I'm watching over here Hassan talk politics on YouTube. Yeah, because I feel a responsibility for myself to make. Again, we'll get into this in the next half of the show, but I do feel a responsibility to watch as much as I can to know what everyone's doing, even though I'm not in the chat. I'm watching because I feel like I need to know what everyone's doing because it's just how it is. And hello to Auntie G. Some people who've come in while we're chatting. Paul, there you are. There's Paul. Also Gordon Lee Weaver. Who else? I'm sure I've missed a couple of other people who've come in. Thank you, Mr. Smith, for the gifted membership as well. You rock. I'm going to give away 5 memberships in our next song. Should we just do that now? Let's play a track because I got Frank to pick some tracks. I put him under the pressure to just 5 minutes before the show.
I didn't know we were playing any songs. Yeah.
Well, I didn't tell you anything on purpose because I like the element of surprise. So, we'll play a track. We'll play a track by Frank here. Did we pick one? Yeah, we did. Let me see. Come over here. We're going to play for you Common Man. Tell us about this song, Frank Terzo.
Okay, so I started to do collabs, and obviously the first big collab is bigger than a collab. It turned out to be Ninth Gate, something I'm extremely proud of. And but with my own music, I really didn't want to involve anybody. But there was something special about Jason Lemansky, and I reached out to him and kind of changed the direction of this song to suit his playing style. And I called him up, and he did an incredible job with the alto and tenor sax, and we pulled the lead guitar right out, and yeah, so that's Common Man.
I reached out to Jason to do an interview with him a while ago, and it just didn't. Sometimes it just doesn't align at that time, and I put him on the back burner. I think I'm going to reach out this month or next month or 1 month, February. Yeah, so the latter half of February, and try and get him on.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
And because he said to me, like everybody, Frank, I ask anyone to come on the show and they say, "What have I got to offer?" I'm like, "Fucking hell, really?" You have. Why do you think I'm bloody asking you? I'm asking you because I think you're awesome. So listen, folks, if I ask you to come on the show, please just tell me yes or no. I'm asking you for a reason because I like you and I want people to know about you. So let's play this track. This is Common Man, Frank Terzo, and Jason Lemansky. Let's go, baby. Well, I've got no sound.
No, that's the way it starts for the first 30
scared
seconds.
the crap out of me.
My footsteps and everything disappeared.
Right, that's Oj.
what you doing to him? He's a common man. Just a common man. Took a vow, swore to keep the peace. Fought for country, fought for king and queen. What you doing? What you doing to him? You see him sifting through the garbage can. Society killed a common man. What you doing? What you doing? What you doing to him? He's a common man. Just a common man. Here's a story about a common man. Makes a living, does the best he can. What you doing? What you doing? What you doing to him? He's a common man. Just a common man. He's a common man. Just a common man. He's a common man. Just a common man.
An absolutely fantastic song. So, Frank Terzo, Jason Lasky, great song. We are at our halfway point, folks. And normally I would run an ad at this time. And I'm going to. It's just not the ad you thought it was going to be. It's an ad from our sponsor today, and it is DistroKid. So let me leave you with this. This presentation is proudly sponsored by DistroKid. Introducing DistroKid, your ultimate music distribution solution. For just $29.99 a year, DistroKid empowers you to release unlimited tracks on all major music platforms worldwide, including Spotify, Apple Music, TikTok, and so many more. Plus, use my link distrokid.com/VIP/JadeStarr and get 7% off your first year. You'll also keep 100% of your royalties and gain access to valuable tools like instant verification on Spotify and detailed revenue analytics. Don't let your music go unheard. Join DistroKid today and take your music career to the next level. Thank you, DistroKid, for sponsoring today's presentation. Yes, indeed. Thank you so much, DistroKid, for everything you do here. I couldn't keep the lights on as I do without you. They're just a fantastic company who look after someone like myself who's still a relatively small creator and many, many big creators. I am utterly grateful for what they do and allow me to present and have such wonderful shows as this. I just am very, very thank you. I've got to do it. I love you, DistroKid. There we go. So that's not creepy at all. Let's bring Frank back on right now. Hello, Frank. Welcome back.
I
So,
also want to mention
yes.
that's the first time in that whole album I got my Uncle Joe um, on bass guitar. He's in his 80s, and it was definitely something I wanted to do all my life. And yeah.
I watch the Community Pulse every week, and I'm very thankful for you say this almost every week, about coming on my show and it helping you. And I feel very blessed to have done that, and to have been able to provide that. It's been very exciting, Frank, from you coming into. I remember when I first heard your music, it was like, oh, this guy's pretty good. Where's he come from? And then having you on the show and then seeing you, everybody love your music and then release music and me even getting to sing your songs to backing tracks and all, it's so wonderful. I feel so connected to you, and then seeing you move on to the Community Pulse and become, I hate the words, a community leader. It's it's something that we're not, but you kind of are. Yeah, you kind of got a voice, and there's a responsibility. I feel like I hate saying I'm not. I don't feel like I'm a community leader or anything. I just do a show, and I talk a lot of nonsense, and I'm a bit of a fool, and I walk around with a camera and do stupid stuff, and hopefully it's entertaining. But you you do kind of somehow take on this role, and of you're on camera. You got to bring people together. You got to lift spirits up, because times the world's not a good place at the moment. I turn on the telly, I turn on the rest of YouTube, and the world's shit. There's a lot of bad stuff going on. There's a lot of demented things. There's people who we're calling each other demons, and politics it's just so fucked. And this is a very, very safe space. And I even hate that term because every word has been weaponized at the moment. I don't even know what I can say that's not a weapon anymore. The word woke is now, empathy is now something terrible, apparently. You can't, it's very scary. So, and I feel like there's this responsibility to do my best to try and not talk about that stuff, but sometimes it creeps in. But you want to bring people together and uplift people and keep people's spirits high because, as I said, shit's pretty dire out there. How much, when you're doing this, is it easy for you to push away the world to be able to lift people up and try and keep spirits up? Is it a struggle? How do you do it? Because I struggle with it, man, so much.
And again, I'm gonna take from JJ's quote, "Sing of love, be as one." Um, what we do on the Community Pulse is just an extension of what you all have been doing, and that's why it's right here. Um, the notable music streaming channels. You all play, and you, Jade, with your interviews, Pete Johns, Thomas Christ, you know, Chad, 15th Ben, Ron Ward was there, Metalhead Hippie was there. You all have brought this community together. This is not, it's not what I'm doing. What I'm doing is just an extension of what we're doing is just an extension of what you all have established. And just to keep it going and to let anybody that's new on from my channel or any others from these artists that we're introducing and bringing in to let them know that you're out there. And yeah, this isn't a financial thing for me.
Mm-hmm.
Not boasting, I've just happened to be blessed with where I landed with my work. And yeah, for me, again, it's just about spreading the word, spreading the love, just spreading the music. And Yeah, we do work really hard. There's a lot of um, backstage meetings that we have to try to keep things in check and not get involved in some of the stuff that does happen. It happens in families, and it'll happen in the community as well.
Absolutely. Now, when I say talking about community leaders, I still don't think I am one, right? And it doesn't, I don't police the way the community works. The people do their thing, right? Everyone's adult. I look at it like this: everybody's adult enough to know what's wrong and what's right. And if you're not, well, you'll be dealt with. And for example, of course, I'm not going to throw names under the bus or anything. Doing mental health stuff here on this channel, I was, during the inconvenience, we were doing this WART series. We all rise together, and each week I'd kind of talk about mental health and depression and loneliness and all this kind of stuff, because it's stuff that makes up who we are. This is how we write music. We're emotional bags of blood and bone, and if you're not feeling shit, you're probably dead. And I know there's a lot of tough people out there that, I don't feel stuff. It's like, you do. And if you want to cut people down and say you're too feely that's just what people are. But I did a show once on loneliness, and somebody came in the chat and fully wrote over and over, loneliness doesn't exist. It's demons in your head. And it was so frustrating because there's all these people in the chat expressing their stories about loneliness. And then this one person comes in and says, no, you're all idiots. That doesn't exist. You're not valued. What you're saying, it's just devaluing people. And I had to make a decision to remove that person from my channel because it was a consistent thing that they were doing, coming in and devaluing the conversations. And it's hard enough to host a show where people are getting up and honestly talking about stuff that's like, wow, that takes a lot of courage, man. And if somebody's up there saying, I was a drug addict or whatever it is, and someone's in there going, you weren't a drug addict. It's the special voices in your head. I'm sorry, you're going to have to fuck off from my channel. Like, it's not helping anybody. I'm sure you feel great. And, at the same time, they're like, safe spaces don't exist. Yes, they do. And I've tried to nurture that kind of thing here. But the community, people police themselves, hopefully. And I think that's one of the good things about this little group of people, whatever you want to call it, indie music community. I don't know what to call it. I call it like lightning in a bottle. It's sometimes you just get lucky. And that's what it is. It's indescribable. It's something that you don't know how it's happened, but I'm very thankful that it's here, and I don't want it to go away. But from time to time, there's drama. And with all communities, with all groups, there's drama. And I'll start with me, and I'll talk how you have dealt with this. I guess, I've tried to take away experiences from my personal life. When there's been drama, I just shut the fuck up and ignore it and let it go, because the problem is when you start to laser in on things, on small things that somebody wants you to focus on and make into a larger snowball, you make the snowball yourself and facilitate something that doesn't need to happen. And then your channel becomes known for drama. And I'm not here for fucking drama. I'm here to make music. I'm here to help people make music. I'm here to have great conversations, tackle the hard things that maybe some people don't want to talk about, and do some entertainment. That's what it's all about. Anything else is kind of like, well, go and sort it out your fucking selves. But don't come to me privately and say, you need to fucking change what you... No, fuck off. And, these things happen. How do you cope with this? Because people will come to you. People come to me and say this stuff, right? What do you do, Frank?
I think it happens, and
Yes.
it's present. And I think it's just you have to shut it off. Everybody's going to have nobody not everybody is going to get along. There's whether it's good reason, wrong reason, whether it's an incident that happened, it's not affecting me. It's not going to affect me. If I let it affect me, I'll burn out. I'll get sick myself. Um, Again, it's I think we spoke about it. You just got to brush it off your shoulder and know it's out there. If there's something that you see that's wrong, reach out to the person, try to figure it out. Um, if you can't help the person, pray for that person. Um, yeah.
Yeah.
I try to block it out. Not try, I block it out. Or else I'm gonna get sick.
Yeah.
And I can't allow that to happen.
And why is that, Frank? Is it because we have the thing that's very bad at the moment? Is it because we have empathy?
Yeah.
Empathy.
I didn't know about this empathy being the bad word.
Oh man.
I
Well, this word woke has been thrown around for so long in the last few years. It's like,
Mhm.
and you look at it, it's like, oh, I understand this person's. It's just empathy, and it just seems like there's the world is going down this path of like, oh, so you're nice to this person. What a weak piece of shit. People who are showing empathy seem to be classed as weak, and being weak is a terrible thing. It's like, well, hang on a minute. I don't think it's weak to have empathy. I think it's very strong to have empathy and care and listen and put other people first. And I try and walk in their shoes. It's very important to do that because you expect people to do the same thing to you. Love thy neighbor, don't judge people, all this kind of stuff. But it seems like these days it's coming off as a sign of weakness. It's not. But it seems like the world is heading down that path. It's a strange kind of place that we're at. And I try my hardest to listen to both sides and then go, cool, you go fucking work it out yourself. But being empathetic, the point I'm trying to make is when you have empathy and you spend a lot of your time trying to build people up, like that's my whole motto on this channel. We all rise together. I hardly release any fucking music on this channel because I'm too busy trying to teach everybody else to be better and trying to encourage people to be better. There's no time for me to make music. And I get extremely jealous looking at everybody going, man, everyone releases so much music and I just don't have the time because of this, because of empathy, because of this kind of stuff, right? So this is what the point I'm trying to get to is if you've got a problem, work it, like Frank said, work it out yourself. Don't come to us and expect us to be like some kind of community leader to try and sort the problem because we're already dealing with our own shit because we've got so much empathy already. We got to get up here, you know what I mean? Just think smart and sort it out, and this is the thing. Like,
Or don't.
Yeah. And just take the high ground.
Yeah.
This is the thing. We're going to see each other. You're not going to be able to avoid people in these chats and stuff. It's like this whole thing, with music. We're not going to like every kind of song that we hear, right? I'm sure, Frank, you don't listen to sludge grindcore death metal and go, you know what? I love that song about having sex with seagulls by FMC. And that's okay. That's okay.
That's perfect.
You know what I mean? And you're not gonna like everyone's music. And I think what's really a strong character in this community is that people don't sit there and go, well, I don't like this song, and we're encouraging. And this is another thing too. Like, I try and reach out to people, Frank, with my Patreon to do mastering, not so much to master people's songs, but then they get to send the song to me and they're going to get an honest opinion to go away and maybe fix it before I master it. Because once the song's done and it's out, if you're coming into chats here in this community and saying, this song needs more vocals, the song's already fucking out, folks. They can't fix it now. Like, there's no point.
Yeah.
So hello, Pookie. We've got some other people here. Pookie's here. She says, I'm being lazy and wrapped in a blanket. Stayed home today so I can listen.
Hey, Pookie.
We love you, Pookie. Thanks, Ed Zielinski, for the $5. You're a legend. He says, take a break and make some damn music. I wish I could. Sunshine Archer's in the house as well. Who else have I missed? Oh, there's another legend who's got a song coming out very soon. Sean Chandler. I just mastered their brand new song. Just mastered it. It sounds so good. It's really cool. Sander Wolf is here as well. Is there anyone else? Chris Lane Senior. I haven't said hello to you. The big lion's in the house, and he's not doing. His show's not on today, folks. I think so. Chris has cancelled the show for today. He's rejigging the show since Dom has been arrested and he's at the bottom of the river in concrete shoes. Apparently. So we've talked a little bit about drama. Look, I love a good drama, Frank. I do.
No.
I do love a good drama, but I'll tell you where I like it. On fucking TV. Not here. Because let's get down to this. It is about the music after all, isn't it?
Oh, 100%. You know, let's look and what this community has brought together. I remember Smith saying on your show about wanting to get involved with more collaborations, and I think with Ninth Gate, we would have been one of the first. But look at this community's brought together. I mean, you've got Auntie G, Rosanna Jacket with folk punk,
Yep.
and Viv Sparrow. You've got the multinationals. You got Ninth Gate, the Skeptics. So much beautiful. You got Francis and Mark. Like, there's just so much beautiful collaborations, and obviously Lori and Hugh and PJ and Les, and I think it's just a beautiful thing. I guess what I'm saying is there's so much good out there that little is again, just brush it off and move on.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there is, and that's exactly what I've done on here. You know, you just because there is so much good. It's like with the world too. Like, we're bombarded with so much of the shit that's going on, and you can fall down that hole. You can fall down the hole and be watching all that stuff and watching all these political porn players and porn players. Well, they are pawns with lots of money. But they're using us, you know, all the stuff that goes on. But really, when it comes down to it, does all that stuff affect us day to day? Does it? I'm still not walking out the house and getting people like throw axes at my head. So, you know, it's how much you invest in that stuff. You invest in the drama, then you're going to be surrounded by drama. When there's so much good that happens all the time, like you said, all these collaborations, it's bonkers. It's so amazing how much good music comes out. And the one thing I do love, Frank, this is that gets me off. Oh, we're going down a dangerous path there. Is seeing people improve over time. And it's interesting because you don't see it immediately, but over years, you look back and go, far out. Remember when this person was first making music? Because like with all things, when you improve on anything, it's not an instant thing. It's not overnight. You don't see the changes happening minute by minute. But being able to reflect and go back and seeing so many artists in this community just get better and better, and it is because people lift each other up. And it comes off sometimes. you know, we've all probably had these thoughts. I don't bullshit around on this channel. You look around at the chats and go, fuck, everyone's so positive. It's so sickening. What's going on? But it has an effect, right? It really does have an effect. Even if you probably don't like the song and you're saying, fucking great job, this stuff has an effect. You talk to plants, this stuff's proven. You talk to plants and say, I love you, plant, every day. The plant's going to survive, right? Positive reinforcement, it's a thing, and it does work. And it's something that I think we do very well here in this community. And it's a pleasure to watch. But it is all about the music.
Yeah.
And with the music too, we talked about this a little bit before the show. And during the show, we've talked about it, how growing the community. I remember when this community blew up, Pete kind of was the first plant in the ground for me, and Metalhead Hippie. And then I'm a part of the cog, and then more and more people are a part of the cog, the wheels that turn everything. It felt like it was all just a bunch of musicians circle jerking each other. But over time, we've had more people come into the community who don't necessarily play music. And they're fans.
Yeah. How beautiful is that?
Yeah, we have fans now. Not just each other telling each other we're wicked. But with that too comes responsibility as well, because we know this. If you've ever played live, you got fans who come to gigs, right? And I've had some fans who I used to love at gigs come and see me every week, and then they started coming to my house when I unannounced, and it got a little bit weird. And they wanted too much from me, and then I found one of them in my bathtub one night, and things were strange. So I think what I'm getting at too is we've got fans, and then we've even got other communities coming in too, like karaoke communities at the moment, who've been popping in and out. I'm seeing them coming into chats as well and appearing on shows, and I'm even seeing people who sing karaoke coming over here for my app demos and stuff. And it's like, hey, this is cool, because I want to see people continue to grow and continue to learn, and that's where I come from for this. The other thing I want to talk about is adversity in this community. I can't ever in my life, in any community I've ever been a part of in real life, online communities, seen groups come together when someone's in need.
Mm.
The shit I have seen and experienced personally is just mind-blowing. And I can just say on behalf of me, thank you. I mean, we've seen people pass. We've seen people lose stuff and have damages, and people just come together and just support and continue to pull people out of holes. It's mind-blowing, this stuff that goes on. How does this happen here and nowhere else, Frank?
It's just incredible. Look at what Russ is, what he's done, what he's gone through, and what he's giving with this charity for life. I think it's beautiful. And as you said, Jade, we've lost quite a few people, and the support, I don't know. I haven't seen this out there.
Yeah.
It's just beautiful. And this is why, again, I'll go back to the little things that don't go right is far more outweighed by all the beautiful things that this community brings in my life. That you get to witness this, you get to see this magic, how people can be together. And as you said, Jade, look how big this community is getting, and everybody's supporting each other. Yeah, we got karaoke streaming channels. We've got other content creators out there that are coming onto our shows and stuff. This is beautiful. Yeah.
I say it many times, Frank, the world at the moment seems to be hell-bent on singling out our differences and making it a problem.
Yeah.
And the thing that makes this community, in my opinion, is that we are all so absolutely fucking different. I could have anybody on this odd couple show with me. Anybody from the community I could have on because everyone's so different. But there is a commonality, and that's why it works. And this is what's going wrong with the world. Everyone's so hell-bent on finding the differences and going, I don't like it, I don't like it, I don't like it, instead of going, oh, let's start simple. Well, firstly, we all need to shit, we all need to piss, we all need to eat, we all bleed. Where do we go from here? And it's so sad to see. I don't know what it is that music used to be a thing that did bring everybody together, regardless of religion, race, whatever it is. Music changed the world. In the 70s, music ended the war and brought people back from Vietnam. Music was a complete culture shift. It changed things, and I don't know if it's the way that music's become through streaming, and it's so cheapened now that a song's worth $1, and that we don't own physical music anymore. I don't know if it's that's taken the power, the sting out of music, because I keep waiting, Frank, for the world to go, let's start a revolution with music, and I don't know if it's going to happen again. But here in this little pocket, it is all about the music, yeah, and I think that's what it is.
And it is happening
here, yeah,
in our community,
yeah,
right? We're living it.
How do we get the world to see it?
Keep growing the community.
How?
Right? Yeah.
I need answers, Frank.
AdSense? Yeah. I wish I had the answer.
I know. I wish I did too.
Yeah.
But
again, and we talk about commonality. I mean, it started off from when I first came to the community. It was just music and artists supporting one another. Now it's just the commonality is just being on one of these streams and just to get away, just to be part of, just to converse in the chat. And yeah, again, I'm going to say the Community Pulse. Many times JJ and DJ notice that they have more fun in the chat than what's on the screen. It's beautiful to the point where I do want to go back and just, yeah, we won't talk about the penis. That's Lori. She's in her own world. But
what? Hang on, what? What?
There's a lot.
I feel like it's New Year's Eve, and I'm like, I gotta get off.
What?
Yeah.
But it's true. Like sometimes you feel like you're up here and you're doing the entertainment thing, and you don't want to be here. You want to be in the chat. What's going on over there? Is anybody paying attention to what I'm doing up here?
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the thing. And, that's one of the reasons. I remember when they started memberships on YouTube. I think I was one of the first channels to sign up to memberships and wanted to put emojis in there and put people's faces in there. Because to me, again, this comes back to community. I can sit up here every day and talk a load of nonsense and try and teach somebody whatever. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. The important thing is everybody happy in the chat? And making emojis for me when I first started that was the equivalent of putting a beach ball into the arena. So people have got things to throw around when I'm boring, which is quite
beautiful.
Often,
Yeah.
Because and it's weird that like I got that idea formed in my head because of WWE. I'm a big wrestling fan, and WWE are so weird in their culture. When fans started bringing blow up beach balls to the audience and was throwing them around, the security would take them away from the audience and go, "No, you have to watch the wrestling." It's like, but there's a reason they bought the beach ball. It's because the wrestling's really shit at the moment. So let them have the beach ball. You can't take things away from your audience if they're making their own fun. You let them do that. That's what it's all about, and you've got to pay attention to that stuff and let people do their thing. Like Kim Hudson and Costa, Michael Thompson. Did I already say hi to Michael Thompson? Look, thank you all for hanging out today. This is not about me and Frank today. This is about you. It's you. You are the people that make this thing work. I just sit here and talk a load of nonsense and learn some apps and try my best to keep things fresh and entertaining. Frank writes great music and works very hard to put together everyone's songs and collate everyone's songs with a great group of people behind. But if you weren't here, it would just be me and Frank sitting in a room talking to ourselves. Hang on, that's what it is, isn't it? Oh, shit. I am in a room talking to myself. Do you ever feel like, Frank, you're going to end up one day in an old person's home and they're going to come around and bring your tablets to you, and all of a sudden you're just going to yell out in the middle of the television room, "I sat in a room talking to myself on the internet." I wake up every day thinking that's going to happen to me.
The tablets part, I'm almost there.
All right. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I'm on I nearly said colostomy. What the fuck? What is it called? Anyway, not doing well. So, but honestly, all this stuff is about you guys, and I can't thank you all enough, right? And I'm very excited, as Frank's mentioned, that we've got another community album coming up with this Music for Life. We've got 2 of them coming up this year. And I know you're going to hear all of us. Frank's mentioned it on his show. Pete and Thomas mentioned it. I'm going to keep mentioning it. We're mentioning it because you guys are the stars. You make this great music that keeps this community going, and we want your music on these albums because, like, it's going to help a lot of people, like a lot of kids, like it did last time. And it's another great way to get your music heard that has value, that you can turn around and say, "Hey, I did this thing." And it's not just because sometimes here on YouTube, our music gets played every week, and then the next week we've got a new song out, and they don't really get enough time to breathe because the community moves so fast. What's your opinion on that, Frank?
I took your advice. You said this well over 2 years ago.
Yes.
Give it time to breathe.
Yes.
More than 2 weeks. Give it a month. Give it, it needs time to breathe. I know we have back-to-back shows where we had Ron, then we had on Monday night, then we had Thomas Christ, and then we had Metalhead Hippie, and then Ron in between that again, and then on Sunday we got Pete John. But that doesn't end there. Just give it time to breathe. I think that's really important.
Yeah, I say it all the time. I think, oh man, you just released a song last week, and now you got another one out, and no one's had time to, like, we used to go out and buy albums, and you go and buy an album and sit down and listen to it, and you're not going to get another album from that artist for another 2 fucking years,
Yeah.
And now the songs just breeze by, and you want them to be special and sit there and permeate and let people enjoy them and soak them in. But, I think this is not so much an us problem. This is a world problem. This is this on-demand need to feed the algorithm that's constantly telling you you've got to have more content or everybody will forget you exist.
Yeah. It's not about thinking, you are relevant. Don't ever think that we're not relevant because we hadn't put out a song. If I could give advice,
Yes.
and I'm living by this, is I've created an album and it was released February 28th. We are now almost at February 28th, and I'm only at song number 5 for creating videos. if I could give advice, compile your songs, 13 songs, and then just release it, even if it's every 2 weeks, and then just spread it out that way. And in the meantime, you have time to create another 12 songs and just kind of do that. That's just my advice. Um, yeah.
I agree. Hi, Martin and Chad Freeman. And I haven't said hi to Robbie Stingle. Hello, Rob. And Greg Hutto. Hello to you. Look, yeah, I said before I get really jealous, see how everyone releasing stuff. I've actually got 3 albums that are almost ready to come out. And I have been working on stuff. And
That's great.
it's very exciting. But again, I'm not rushing because, I want it to be cool. And the Meteorist one's nearly ready. And I just got to finish setting up the studio, and then I'm going to shoot a video clip and all that stuff. But the Meteorist album's so close, it's ridiculous. But yeah, once I do that, I'm probably going to sit back and not release anything for 5 years.
Now, I'm also not, yeah, I mean, some people are just writing machines and they're just delivering these songs, and that's okay too.
Of
There's
course.
no wrong way to do it.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, if they're coming out like that, then I don't know. What do you say? You stop, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
If it's coming out
that's
like
you.
that, hey, you can't stop it. Sometimes you go to the toilet and it just doesn't come out, and sometimes it comes out really quick.
Oh, can I mention one thing? Because we did get
Of course.
an email from the Pulse that somebody was asking if you can give a little bit more clarity to they didn't think to send a song because they thought it was just for the Canadian part, this one coming up. Um, yeah, and I thought I'd just mention it to you. Maybe you can give it a shout out that it's not just for Canadian artists right now.
Yeah, I did try and be very clear on that. So there's
Yeah.
two albums coming out, folks. We want you to be on both, no matter where you're from. To be clear, the Canada thing is because it's for a Canadian charity. The US thing, US charity. Next year, Australian charity. First one was for British charity. That's the way it works. So yeah, it's not, God, could you imagine if it was just all Canadian musicians? It'd just be the Frank Terzo, Hetriani, Gary Hubbs Club, wouldn't it? We'd have to change the name to music bros for life.
Yeah, that's good.
It's a good one, isn't it?
Bros.
You can keep that. You can use that for yourself. So we're gonna. Is there anything you'd like to say? I'm gonna, first we're gonna end this and play some music. I really wanted to do this today. It wasn't a rant. I just want to remind people that you are incredibly valuable. You are the community. You make the music that keeps, shows like Community Pulse with an audience, keeps me wanting to do tutorials and help people get better. It's you guys. You are the community. We just like up here facilitating certain things. And there's so many great people who are getting up here and facilitating live streams. Chad Freeman's here, Chris Lane Sr., Metalhead Hippie used to do it. Now he's not. And who knows, he may be back. Thomas Christ, Pete Johns, Ron Ward's no longer doing it these days. There's just so many people. Falcro does it from time to time. Even Heather, Feisty Feather does it. I'm sure I'm missing someone else out of the groups of people that do it. And that's fantastic. Again, though, those shows wouldn't exist without you.
Yeah.
Thomas wouldn't have a list of songs to play each week without you. Pete wouldn't have YML without you. And then you wouldn't be able to complain that he only plays 2 minutes each song. I love that Pete still does that. He's stuck to his guns through all the bitchiness of people going, 2 songs. And he's turned it into something funny with the solo every time. The solo gets cut off, and I think that's really funny. I've been asked if I'm going to do a show like that, and probably not. There's already enough of that stuff out there that does all that. So, it'd be like the same radio station again. And look, another thing I want to bring up, another person who's really good at bringing new music into the community is Chad Freeman. Bit of an underdog. You know, we forget he does bring in so many new artists that, you know, from outside that are getting played. So make sure you go and check out Chad Freeman. We also got Pole Vault as well. There's so many great people who are playing your music and supporting you all, but it's all you guys who do it, and it's awesome. So thank you, community. Is there anything you want to say before we scoot, Mr. Terzo?
I don't know, the best advice that I received, the more you give, the more you'll receive. Refresh others and you'll feel refreshed. Just keep sharing, keep supporting, keep the love. Support all these channels, support these artists. That's what we're here for. We want to be heard. And I love this community. This community means everything to me. And once again, this is why we started the Community Pulse. It's all about gratitude. And that's it.
Yeah, I get up every day to do this. Like, this is my life. And there's a great example. I'd be happy with one song every 6 months. Yeah. So thank you all. And if you get a chance to, there's this amazing channel which I've started watching called The Coopers. It's The Coopers. Oh, you got to get into it, Frank. It's amazing. It's taken over my life. There's this, I'm just going to mute. There's this, I mentioned it on yesterday's show, folks. This is a channel Russ found on YouTube. Here it is. Let's bring it up here. It's called The Coopers Townhouse. And what it is, it reminds me so much of our community, but different. It's a pub in the middle of, in Liverpool. And every day they go live and they got this cameras, 3 cameras set up, and it's just a pub. And people just get up and sing karaoke. And it's just, it goes for fucking 8 hours of this. It's wild. And some of the people are not so good at singing. And some of them are really surprising. And you're just watching. It's like this bird's eye view of community. Like as you scroll through what's going on, I can't play the music because I'll get a claim, right? But as you go through the 8 hours, look how packed it is here. It's so interesting seeing this community of people getting drinking, and there's always someone up here where they sing. If we move forward a little bit, who's on the mic at the moment? So this girl, there she is in the middle with her microphone singing away, and it just goes on and on. But and people in the chat sit there and they've got names for all the characters. There's Blue Coat and there's the Legend, and it reminds me of us, you know how 15 Ben sits there calling out the Hetriani, the Legend. It's very interesting. So to see that there's other communities doing this slightly different is really cool. I love it. It is. As
I
Russ
will
has said,
check it out.
Russ has said, it's just us, but in a fucking pub. It's so interesting. And it kind of makes me a bit jealous too, because they've only been doing it for about a month, and they've got 6, they've got something like, how many subscribers? So this is weird. They've only got like 6,000 subscribers, but they've had 1 million views in a month.
Wow.
And there's like 600 people there each day, and it starts every day. And it's just very, very interesting, and it proves it. I think one of the reasons why I've been really addicted to it, watching it for the last few days, is it's given me hope that there are other communities out there that are coming together through music. It's great. I love it.
That's beautiful.
So plus, you can go in the chat and kind of be a bit of a dick and laugh at them as well. And there's no moderation, so you can have a bit of fun and go, look at this guy, look at his nose, and they encourage it. It's heaps of fun. You can say whatever you want there. So check it out, folks. There you go. It's called the Coopers Townhouse. We're in there all the time. It's heaps of fun. The last thing I want to do before we get out of here today and we're going to play our last track, is just, I've kind of said thank you all for being in this community. It's just a thank you all for the things you do for other people. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like nothing I've ever, again, like with Adam passing away last year, and recently we've got Justine here. Hello, Justine. With the loss of Kurt, just seeing some of the groups and stuff, and like, you know, being in the little messenger group we have, and seeing Cold Acre rally together to bring together a microphone and all this stuff so Justine can make music, and knowing that people have been sending money to get her looked after, and just all this kind of stuff that happens. It just is, it restores my faith in this shit world that we're currently living in at the moment. Really.
Beautiful.
So thank you all for what you do. You're wonderful people. Thank you, Frank, for coming on today and spending some time with me.
Thanks for having me.
And I hope I didn't embarrass you too much.
No.
Well, we've still got a few minutes, so
yeah.
no. Thank you for all you do as well, Frank. I think it's great that you have started the Community Pulse. I know everybody loves it. It's really cool to see everybody come together each week and see all the songs go up for the week, and it's just a really nice idea, and I think it works really well. And we're going to get out of here for today. Thank you, DistroKid, for sponsoring the show. Please stay on the line so I can say goodbye to you off the air, Frank. And we're closing with this wonderful song, Love Who You Are. Do you want to tell us a bit about this track?
Well, I was really excited, Jade, when I guess it was 2022, when it was your top 10 of the year. This song meant a lot to me because my daughter Clea was helping me out, and one of the reasons why I got the courage to go into studio and start recording and writing again. And so I wrote a song that I felt that she could make her own, and the meaning of the song is you know, it speaks for itself. And love who you are, be who you are. Don't let anybody take your dream.
It's a wicked song. And I think, Frank, you know, we said maybe, you know, these odd couple things, you think that me and Frank are so different from each other. We're not at all. You know, we both have our, you know, well, I'm not doing FMC, of course, but the serious songs I write, we both write very similar stuff. We both come from dark places, and I'm very grateful for where I am right now. I've clawed my way through the mud and come back, and, you know, you really never should give up hope, ever. It's one thing I always say on this channel, hope is free, and it's one thing you can always hold on to, even in the grimmest times. And, you know, be yourself, be strong, stand proud, say who you are, and try not to cut other people down. And if they try and cut you down, walk the other way. Do your best to run the other way. Get away from them because they're poisonous. This is Love Who You Are. As always, do the things that make you happy, folks. Mistakes make you better. We'll all rise together. Thank you for being you. Love who you are. Let's Oj.
Cry is what I see. A silent tear is what I hear. The birds who stayed know who they are. The ones who've flown won't get far. It's still a lifetime for a taste. And when it comes, we walk away. Who you are. Your eyes a smile behind the mask. Your soul that shines as bright as lights. Don't live your life for someone else. Don't sacrifice who you are. Who are we to chase a dream? Who are we to laugh and scream? The answers come from deep within. Trust yourself in who you are. Who you are. You played the game within the rules. Still you don't know who you are. You wait in silence for a sign. Who you are.
Ladies and gentlemen, just a reminder before you leave, tomorrow is Walk With Me in Frankston after Valerie Butt. Come and join me, you'll have a blast. That's huge.